Good morning, everybody. So, as fate would have it, I did another session yesterday. It was because my friend, after a couple of years of not having a lot of contact, I recently ran into him, right? And when we were friends, we very often talked about spirituality. We were like trying to be aware, and I was very much into discipline, practice, meditation, and he wasn't. He was more about the mental side, about trying to be aware, trying to understand concepts, but his energies were not shifting, his reality was not really shifting. He was learning from life experience. So after I told him about KAP, he eagerly wanted to come because he thought, wow, this is maybe a tool where my life energies will be awakened and where my experience can change, because the mental, the psychological, it's been weighing on him. There's no change. It's just an adding, a heaping on, a heaping on, a heaping on, more responsibilities, more this, more that, constant limitations, constant pressure. And he doesn't meditate, so he drowned his stress with food and weed and other stuff, right? So he decided to go through a couple of sessions this week, and he did 3 to be sure that he got activated. And oh boy, did he get activated. he energetically was very open, and he had his sessions were very progressive. In the first session with him, he was moving a lot, was feeling a lot. The second session, he had expectations, so nothing really happened. But the third session, I mean, the energy yesterday was so electrifying. I don't know why, but I compare it with soup. It's like everybody who comes there on the day that you have the session, it's like they're all ingredients and they're all being mixed together in this energetic soup. And sometimes it's sweet, sometimes it's soft, sometimes it's spicy, sometimes it's like really on fire, electric. And this time it was one of the most amazing sessions that we had. For him, he so let me start. So this is session, what is it, session 35. 35. So session 35, we came, and the facilitator told us that it was 1st of April, and it was a new moon, and there was like a special occasion because according to the alignment of the stars and the planets, there's like a big opportunity to have a shift with Lilith, with the wounded healer. I don't know the specifics of it, but it was like energetically a very opportunistic moment. So we went into the room, everybody got prepared. There was a lot of people, like 15 people, and I didn't expect it. And someone was in the middle. By the way, when you go into a KAP session, if you lie in the middle of the room, you will get the most energy, right? Because that's where the energy it's circulating throughout the room, but that's where it all can collide. So you will feel the most contact there. I've had it a couple of times, and it's an amazing experience, but it is intense. It's constantly the wattage is on. So the facilitator, there were a couple of new people, and she did a demo, right? So she put on a song, and she tapped people on the shoulder, and first there was a girl. She laid down on the ground, and she was moving a little bit. She was like in this position, and there was a lot of shaking. And then she went to another girl. She tapped her on the shoulder, and her process started. She was like moving a lot. Immediately she got up, she started walking through the room, dancing, and it was very beautiful to see. And then I looked at the facilitator, and she came to me. She tapped me on the shoulder, laid down, and I immediately, like, this pressure in my forehead started to come up. And while I was sitting there, while I was watching, I was already feeling the activation in my body. The energy is like pulsating. So when I closed my eyes, I lay down, immediately my body started to jerk, to make movements, and sound came out like shouting, 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 shouting. And it's quite extreme. And I did a bridge. My heart was completely open. I was just like making sounds, making sounds. And then, after a while it was done, like a minute. And I got up and I looked at everybody, and everybody was like, what the fuck just happened? Because you see the gradations of it. And for new people, I can imagine it can look scary. It can look like you're possessed. It can look like it's aggressive. I talked about this with a couple of people, and honestly, it's all your projection. It's not scary. It's not aggressive. It's not painful. It's not uncomfortable. It's actually, once you're used to the energetic movement and the freedom in your body, it's so pleasant to allow your body to express itself unconditionally, and to, with each expression, you feel a deepening of the vibration. You go into a deeper layer of the feeling. Your experience becomes richer. So it's really a wonderful moment to be intimate with yourself, with your body, with your emotions, with your whole experience, with your energies. And yeah, I can only say let go, because whatever you think that's happening, it's not what's happening. It's a projection. What's happening is the person is having an experience. And if you really have some doubts, you can always ask the person. So when I have these sessions and people like look at like a bit scared, I tell them like it's pleasant, it's really fun, it's very liberating. You feel free. You feel like you're just going with the flow, like you're in this movement of complete expression. Like you fall, you make a sound, you get up, you make a sound, you breathe in, you breathe out. It's so natural, it's so normal. So the session started, and immediately I felt this deep, deep, deep sadness. I saw myself as a baby lying, and I felt like, wow, nobody wants me. I'm unwanted. Nobody wants me. And I felt the baby's pain in my body. I wanted to cry. I took the position of the baby. I started to lay on the ground in the fetus position. I wanted to cry, but there was some resistance to fully cry it out. So it was like building up, building up, building up. And I was like crying, the sadness. And it's not easy for me to let myself be completely vulnerable, because there's some kind of shame of it. And shame, as we know, is attached to pride. When you have pride, then you have shame. If you don't have pride, what's there to be shamed about, right? So the facilitator, she came to me at the exact moment, and she went behind me. She started touching me in the beginning, and then she hugged me like this and put her hands on my heart, and I felt this in-stream of motherly acceptance, of love, of intimacy stream into my heart, and it was calmed down. And I saw the baby that I was, the memory, like the memory of that baby was still in this body, because this body was sometime a little baby. And I felt how it was cuddled, like it was accepted, it was warm. And all of a sudden the baby was smiling, and I was just breathing in my heart like, wow, I'm whole, I'm healed. And that's what came. And then she left me, and I was still okay. I was just in this like, I'm warm, I'm healthy, I'm wanted. And all of a sudden, from my root chakra, this immense energy of manlyhood came up, like a warrior shout, like, wow, like it was so crazy. It was so not aggressive, but so so strong. It was amazingly strong. I was so surprised, but it was like a warrior had awakened in me. and I was making a lot of sounds, manly sounds, growling, expressing different states of manhood. Then I started to shout, Elohim, 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 and then angels came to me. I saw angels come to me, and they were like with me. They were sitting with me, and then, like literally, I felt and I saw it energetically. They took my hands up, and I was shouting with them, Elohim, 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 and singing it. And in the room, there was this party going on. Everybody was either shouting or singing or crying or whatever. It was like this energetic, like mix of wonderfulness, of expression of life. And one angel said to me, like, there's nothing for you to do in this life except to be a servant of God, to serve love. There's nothing for you to actually do or achieve or be except to serve His will. And I got like a bit quiet there, and then all of a sudden it felt like my body was going like up in the stratosphere, and I was sitting, and before me, like these master light beings appeared. They were like they were like shining white beings, and they were like so perfect, right? The geometry is so perfect, and they were like so complete, and they were looking at me. And this one master, he offered me a cup with a water or a drink in it. So I took the cup, and I literally, like, I felt like I was drinking something, and whatever was entering my body, I felt like it was, as soon as I had ingested it, my body was like completely, all my cells started to vibrate, and I started to shake, and I went into this convulsion where every cell in my body was shaking, and like there was some kind of transformation going on or something, because there were such deep sounds. It was like my body was completely transformed from one state of being to another state of being. After it was done, another master, he came to me, and he put this thing on my third eye, and he opened my third eye, or he did something, and all of a sudden, like my sense of perception, it broadened, and I could see all the layers of reality. It's like you're being pulled. It's like you're being pulled from where you are to different layers in different stratospheres of the universe, and the perception of the whole. It was in the different dimensions, the different levels of perceptions. It was like infinite. It's very difficult to describe, but it was like very crazy. So I was lying there, and then the third being, he started to channel like love into my heart. And when I was channeling, I started to have these orgasms. So in the beginning, the love was coming in, and I was like, like it was pleasant, but I was holding it back, I didn't want to make orgasm sounds. But then it kept coming, the energy kept coming, and it was so overflowing that I couldn't hold myself. And I started to have like literally hard orgasms where I felt like this elation, like like non-stop the whole time through. I had like orgasms. It was like minutes. It was minutes, and I was screaming in the room, and then other people were also having it. And it was very interesting to experience that, because I've never had it so intense. And at a certain point, when I was in the bridge, the facilitator came to me, and she did this at my heart chakra, and I felt like my whole heart, it even like it went beyond the experience of a limited experience. It was infinite experience. It was infinite orgasmic bliss. So after that part, I thought, okay, now we're gonna go into a chill space. But then at a certain point, when I was filled with this ecstasy, I just felt so happy and joyous to be alive. And there was this song, and I just started dancing on it, singing, shouting, like celebrating the gift of life, celebrating the existence. And people were like, when one person shouts or makes these wow celebrating sounds, another person reacts, and they all like they're interconnected, and some people were like on the same wavelength, and we all like stimulate each other, and it was a very pleasant experience. And then, like, when I was in this elation, I felt like, oh my god, my spirit is like leaving my body, and all of a sudden I saw like this light being in front of me, and kid you not, how it appeared was like a light being that had the energy of unconditional love. And he looked at me and he hugged me. He kept hugging me. I said, I love you like you're my son. And he told me, do good deeds in my Father's name. Don't take the credit for yourself. Do it all in God's name. And then he said, always see the goodness in people. Because when you see the goodness in people, you're giving them an opportunity to remember their own goodness and to stand in their own goodness. And he kept hugging me, and I asked him, can you help me? And I laid down, and he started to do like surgery on me, like a Reiki massage. But when he put his hands on me, like I felt like a light moving through my organs. Different organs were filled with light. I felt like shaking, vibrating, excruciating, like shouting. And he did like my whole body. And then he started to work on chakras. Every chakra was like, it had like debris or things that weren't needed. And he started to remove things one by one, one by one, one by one, until it was like almost done. And then I thought, okay, now this is the end, right? And then I saw this girl who I keep seeing back in my visions over and over again, and I saw her, and all of a sudden there was this ring that appeared. I took the ring, put it on her finger, and I felt this connection, like energetically. And then I saw her put a ring on my finger, and I felt this union with her that was on an astral level. It was like we were getting married in the astral planes, and I felt this coming together. And then all of a sudden our energies intertwined, and I felt how the energies in me were like balancing themselves in a yin-yang manner, and we were now part of each other. We were together, we were one. And when I had that experience, it was lovely, it was pleasant, but I kept remembering what the facilitator said. Whatever is happening in the session, right? It's not important. You can have visions of the future, you can have premonitions, you can have like all kinds of experiences, but it's not important. What is really important is what happens after the session, when you integrate in your daily life, when you integrate the energy that you received. So I realized like I'm so grateful, even if it's not real, all these things, all these mystical experiences, even if, yeah, even if there are some kind of, if there are illusions in it, I don't know. To me, when you have a mystical experience like that, it feels so real, and it feels so existential. It feels more real than reality, than the normal reality, because it's energetic and it's intense and it's real matter. It's real energetic matter, right? And yeah, those structures, they are different than these structures. So I just let it go. I accept the story and accept that it happened to me, and I'm so grateful for all these experiences. Like even if like that story with her and all, for me it doesn't matter, because I'm not in a phase now where I want to be in love, where I'm looking for love, because I want to choose myself. I want to walk my own path. because every time that I fall in love, I get distracted and I lose track of my own path because I throw myself into love. Um, so yeah, then I saw like ways in which ways I could do something in the world. So through Reiki, through coaching, through doing KAP myself, through giving KAP later as a KAP facilitator, being in the community. Um, yeah, I think the important thing about all this is to experience it all and then to let go of the story and the images and to live your life. I mean, after this, I felt like a lot of people said it, they feel happiness. They feel like they're the happiest person on earth because it's like you've been to this energetic party where things were released, where things were healed, where things were upgraded energetically. At the end or at the beginning, I don't remember it exactly, like I saw how my heart was connected to other hearts through strings, right? And it was all interconnected because those people had connections to other people, and I could see this whole network of hearts being connected, this whole one unity of connection between all of us, and how we all can depend upon each other, relate to each other, have an effect on each other. So, I saw how one thing here can affect one thing there, and it's all through layers connected. I also saw like these techniques. All of a sudden, my body went into a state where I was doing like certain techniques of how I could like do an energetic transmission on another person, how I could manipulate their energy to have them experience some effect, like expand their kundalini energy or allow their energy to flare up. Yeah, I haven't used it before, but I'll try it. I also saw that I needed to get a new laptop because I don't have a laptop; it's broken. And yeah, to study, needed to study. You know, these these sessions, they're such a gift. I know they're one part of my life. They're not my whole life, but I feel so blessed to have this community, to have these experiences, to meet myself, to deepen my experience, to open my experience. Because sometimes when you're in living your daily day-to-day routine, it can feel like you are just grinding, grinding. And it's a never-ending cycle or loop. And there's no progress or there's no enrichment. There's just the next thing. What I love about KAP is that it makes you realize that it's not about the outer things, it's about the inner world and how you relate with the outer world, how you relate with the inner world, how you relate to life, how you are life, how you allow life to live. And meeting people, sharing their experiences, sharing their stories. I mean, what a gift, what a miracle. It's like I can only imagine what this modality will be like in the future. It's like the next therapy or something, right? Because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. It's like one guy said, it's drugs without drugs. And it's embodied. That's what's great about it. It's all in the body. It's not in the mind. You feel the whole experience through your body is expressing itself the whole time. At the end, there was this one moment which was so interesting. So when the last song was playing, I peeked my eyes open and I could feel myself drawn to this person lying next to me. I saw her lying just like in a small ball, and something in me said like I want to hug her. So I put my hand on her shoulder and I just kept it there. And then I took her hand, right? And I kept her hand. She grasped my hand, and we kept hands together. And my whole being wanted to go up and hug her, but I saw her moving, and my mind was like, no, I don't want to disturb her process. It was like a fear that she would get angry at me and she would say like, you're disturbing my process. So I didn't. I held it in. Afterwards, when we were sharing our stories, when I said that, she said, oh my God. At that moment, when you were holding me, I had this intense feeling to just go over to you and hug you. And I was like, what? Are you kidding? Like, it was so like, I felt it. Like, even after the session was done, there was this thing like, I have to hug her. I needed to give her a hug. And I kept waiting, waiting for the appropriate moment to ask her, can I hug you? And she told me, when you took, when you put your hand here, and then we were holding hands, like she also had like this nice experience. Yeah, she told like, when my hand was being held, I felt like everything is okay. Like it's all okay. Everything that's happened. And she was so happy to have that experience. And now I know for the next session, if that ever happens again, I just follow the impulse. If I feel that I really need to hug her, I will hug her. So yeah. When I told this to my friend, he was like, dude, you've done 35 sessions and you still have like these restrictions and conditioned patterns of limiting your expression. I'm like, yeah, I am where I am, right? I'm exactly where I need to be. Is it bad? No. It's just how it is. And I don't worry about it because it's not a problem. I was having this conversation with a friend once about making assumptions for other people because we're always catering to each other's needs. So we're always trying to please the other person. And I said, I make assumptions because I don't want to step on people's boundaries and then be rejected or have them have them reject me or express their anger at me. So it was me fearing rejection, right? And she was like, yeah, but maybe I need that experience to express that because I need to feel that I can say no to a person who wants me or wants to do something with me, because you don't know what I need. Why don't you give me the freedom to make my own decisions? If you stand in your truth and I stand in my truth and we meet each other, we don't necessarily have to do what you want, but we can face each other and we can like play like, this is what I want, this is what you want. Okay. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's it's very primal in a way. Like in the way we're brought up, we have been learned to behave, to have an etiquette of behavior. And if we don't, it's like we're bad animals, right? We're not behaving how we're supposed to. But like there's a purity in our instincts, in our feelings, in our expression. And I learned that more and more with each KAP session. The more you allow yourself to fully express, the more you allow yourself to process your expression, to process your experience, and to integrate that, to incorporate it, to adapt. Because if it's always restricted, you cannot really learn from it, because you're not allowing yourself to be fully. Yeah. It was a truly amazing session. I'm so glad. Like, I know I won't be going for a while now, because I really want to integrate. I want to see, like, I'm excited to go through my life now, to see what's going to happen in my life, to, this girl that I'm having visions about. She's organizing a retreat in Spain, and I've developed like feelings for her, right? So I wanted to go to the retreat because she's an amazing facilitator, and she's making these wonderful programs. But but I have this thing, like, I don't want to fall in love, right? I don't want to go to that person, see her every day, and have all these visions come up about her, right? Because I've had them now 3 times in a row, or 4 or 5 times. I'm like, if a person keeps having like those kind of visions, intense, energetic visions and feelings for a person, you will start to think like, I'm supposed to be with this person. I'm in love with this person. And I'm like, I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to like fall into this illusion and seeing her every day, like be in this environment where I fall in love with her and have these visions about her constantly. Like, I want to live my own life. In a way, I want to avoid that, I told her, because I don't want to put myself in a position where I want something. I want to love her, I want to be with her, but I am unwanted, right? Like my core wound from my child. I am unwanted, and she doesn't want me, right? I think she has another partner. So for me, I decide, for me, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I am the one that feels drawn, that needs her, that is in that pattern. Like, I don't want that. It's like, I don't want to avoid it also. I know if I need to learn something there, life will give me other opportunities to learn. But I don't necessarily want it with her, because I like her. I like the moments we shared. I like the memories I have of her. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to, I'd rather deal with my unconsciousness myself than in that position. So I've decided not to go to the retreat, and to just take my steps to live my life. Like, I know nothing needs to happen. There was this one instance where it occurred to me, consciousness can process everything, right? Nothing is too hard or too difficult or too unbearable for consciousness. It's only our psychological perception and our ego that finds it hard to perceive or endure or process anything. But consciousness has no problem with it. So I realize I have a limited perception. I have a limited belief of what I can and cannot do. But I don't worry about it. Like, I'm walking my path, doing what I can, the best that I can with what I've got. And yeah. There's a lot there. But for today. It's enough. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all to have a great KAP session or life experience.